Kami lock. Okay. Playing Matoya next. Matoya is 3 mana, 1/4. Whenever you scry or surveil, draw a card. This card's pretty interesting. It's also pretty cool that like VV is another Izzet 3-drop that I think incentivizes you to play Flame of Anor. Maybe you could play both of these cards together. And if you have DRC in play, then every time you cast a non-creature spell, you surveil, you draw a card, you make mana with VV, you deal damage. But I wanted to try just Matoya for the first time, especially because we already played a couple of different VV builds. How you draw cards with VV? Channeler, Preordain, fetching for a surveil land. I don't think you need to play Consider. You could play Consider if you feel like you're low on enablers. But this is kind of just a more controlling Murktide build using Matoya to draw a crap ton of cards. Having 4 toughness on a 3-drop is great, so you can tap out for it and not just let it die for Teflage. Did Cloud look better than Steel Shaper's Gift? Yeah, Cloud is better than Stoneforge Mystic. It's like the ability on it was really relevant. It came up like 3 times that league, and it's not like super different, but also getting to play more of this effect is really nice. Also, being a creature is like so nice compared to Steel Shaper. Counterspell Focus Shell. Especially because we have been so steel cutter pilled lately. Why Bauble in the stack and not 4 Murk? Well, Matoya is kind of replacing the Murktide strategy. Instead of being aggro with Murktide, you're more controlling with Matoya. Still kind of similar. Also, you must play 4 Mishra's Bauble in your Dragon Rage's Channeler. Unholy Heat deck, just like not... And you must play 4 Channeler in this deck. So like, it's not really a conversation, in my opinion, about like to include Bauble or to not include Bauble. You must play 4 Bauble. I've not played Rydia Gorios. Might play that if this league goes really fast. Could there be an Amber equipment build with Cloud being legendary? Maybe. You also have Cassandra. You know, there are other legends you could play, like that new 2-drop. Thoughts on Opt? You'd play Consider over Opt. But I think I'd just rather play Expressive Iteration. I've been liking Iteration a lot lately. So Bauble, Sacred Foundry, Flooded Strand. So this could be like Jeskai Ascendancy. Could be Prowess. Might set up for like turn 3 Matoya plus Surveil Land. Yeah, probably the Jeskai Ascendancy list. So I think they're going to go Imri, and then I'm going to go Unholy Heat, Imri, untap Bolt, Tamio, hold up Counterspell. They milled Savine's Reclamation and 2 Jeskai Ascendancies, so on a scale of good to bad, that's bad. Joshua plus Looting plus Oculus plus Helping Hand. Helping Hand is not a reanimate 3-drops fast card. It does not do that. Or it does not do that often enough for it to be like a big part of your plan, I think. Alright, do we feel like we could just go Matoya Surveil? I think we probably want to go Ragavan Counterspell up, especially with backup Ragavan. Saving, I don't think I saved this for Matoya. I think we should trust our deck has enough enablers for it. Just like any fetch land, I'm happy too because I can like make the mana. There's enabler. A lot of times they play like Portable Hole, and so like they don't play like a ton of bolts, but sometimes they do. It just kind of depends on the version. They could have had Repeal here too, which would have been, you know, not the worst, I guess. So maybe I want to be dashing this Ragavan, playing around second Portable Hole. I think the first one made sense to just cast this. Obviously, I did hold up Counterspell. Oh, I didn't know being a Warlock makes it immune to shoot the Sheriff. I didn't realize that. It's kind of cute. I don't think there's anything we should be doing with this Repeal. How did the blue-red deck do yesterday? It was fine. We played the Curiosity build and not the Counterspell build. I want to play the Counterspell build. There's a good chance... I wanted to play this one next, of course, because there's a good chance once we play this one, we're going to get enough information that will allow us to figure out if we want to play like a hybrid of the two, which version is better, etc., etc. Okay, I think we need to counterspell this. Maybe they have a rebuke. Probably would have rebuked the Ragavan though. I do think it's time to slam Matoya, especially drawing the snare, but I was going to cast it anyways. Scry 2, draw a card is not the worst line of text. And yeah, I mean, we got to keep this channeler with the Matoya, I think. Draw the iteration. Let's hold up the snare, although, you know, really only going to be able to snare a steel cutter. Although I guess steel cutter is kind of the only thing they could have that, like, kills us this turn. We 3-2'd the Hammer League. We lost. I just kept misplaying. I kept getting flustered and misplaying against Martyr. Martyr really killed us. Portable Hole, so they get to discard and draw 2. Draw 3. So I guess they drew this return. Narset's still great. Matoya is here to contend. Alright, so scry, draw a card. Let's graveyard that. Okay, not great. Passing back, I guess. We can fetch, surveil, draw a card, maybe. We also might draw into Unholy Heat off the snare, although I guess we might be missing a type. Main phase, make a Saga token. So they had, I mean, wait, I guess, sorry. They already had Delirium from, or Metalcraft from Mox Opal, so I don't understand. We'll see if we do understand. Are they going to flash back Savine's Reclamation, get back 2 Ascendancies, or... Okay, them not flashing back the Reclamation probably means they're worried about a counterspell. They draw 2 cards. So, surveil 1, draw 1 card. So this will be 1... This is Scry 2 Ancestral Recall. That's pretty cool. Is everybody wrong about Vivi? Is Matoya the busted Izzet 3-drop? I mean... Might as well keep that. Okay, let's keep this counterspell for sure, Aziz. Draw another card. Need to find some Unholy Heat soon. The Sync is okay, I suppose. Might as well. I think we just have too many cards for that. There's the Unholy Heat. See what they're drawing. Deck's gonna need 1,000, maybe. I mean, we're not gonna always pop off this hard with it. Would a Bauble that surveils instead be too busted? Surveils instead of what? Drawing a card? I don't think that would that doesn't necessarily sound like a good thing, or like a powerful thing. All right, your turn. Sure. Instead of look at top card of player's library, it said surveil 1. Well, I do think it's kind of like it's like never gonna happen that they print like a better Mishra's Bauble into Modern, or like even like another Mishra's Bauble. They're never gonna print like another like 0 mana artifact draw card. It's just not ever gonna happen. Mishra's Bauble has been like quietly one of the most bannable cards in Modern for like forever. It's like they know this. They know not to print another one. At this point, I could see playing something like Sphinx's Tutelage. I loved to hear that on on the first game, match 1. I think it's kind of early. It is possible you want to play something like a Conflagrate or a Thassa's Oracle. I don't think Sphinx's Tutelage would be it, but something like that, sure. So they're gonna keep me off Delirium, which is pretty good. I guess they have to sack the Lantern to do that, though. What if it only surveilled 1? This theoretical Bauble, of course. Like literally 0 mana artifact sack draw card could not be printed in Modern. Like literally no upside could be printed with a card like this. I think I'm taking 7 and then bouncing this construct end of turn, and trying to maybe get through this one. Obviously taking 7 kind of tough here, but. Oh, but Imri, Tamio is so powerful. Maybe VV isn't too great right now. Maybe I'll say this. Like this, like there's this Jeskai deck that exists. That's like, this deck is okay, like totally playable, but it's not like Jeskai, or it's not like Imri Tamio is like taking over this format at all. It's not really even, I would say, performing well. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. Okay, so this is a pretty good review for Matoya. They're not making another construct. Seems like I want to counterspell this. Well, there's another one on top. Now we graveyard that. How many more sink in the Stupors I have? Not that many. Let's hope they don't have a main deck Shadow Spear. I think it's kind of likely they don't have one. Matoya with Starling Gorehound, different deck. Well, I mean, those are 2 cards with like a little bit of synergy. You say this and like I can't shit a deck out of my brain that is playing both of these cards. So if you have like an idea of like a direction you're going down, we could talk about it, but I can't just poop out a Starling Gorehound Matoya deck as much as I would love to have that power. I ain't that good. Could be dead to a cutter. Well, I've got the snare for a cutter, and I can also force the Savine's Wreck. Soul Trader combo, splashing blue, front earth, Oculus, Matoya, Gorehound. Yeah, that sounds like a direction for sure. Sorry, I wasn't asking for deckless. We pooped out of your brain. Yeah, that's what happens. I get mentally constipated when whenever you ask for deck ideas. So if I Force of Negation this, I'm not going to have a force available. I'll be able to counter the Serene's Rack. What am I talking about? They only have 1 card in hand, so they can't cast a 2. This Preordain is worth 3 cards, so I think I just keep that. Okay, definitely keeping this. So we get to draw that. We can also fetch and surveil and draw another card. Is it too many cards? I don't think so. So now this Preordain is 1 mana, draw 4. Scry 2, draw 4. There's the Murktide. Let's keep that. This is Delirium once I get the Preordain resolved. So let's go ahead and attack for 3 while we have Delirium. I may turn it off with this Murktide Regent. My name is Izzet Matoya. You've ruined my deck. Prepare to die. Great comment. Somehow not the first Princess Bride comment today. Uh, I mean, I think it's a good sign that we're asking about Thassa's Oracle game one. Oh, I didn't see this. You're not the first person to to bring up old Oracle. So I'll say we'll just take that as a good sign and then not gonna add it. Is Tomio better than Ragavan in this type of deck? Ragavan seems like it doesn't mesh well with whatever the deck is trying to do overall. It's an interesting perspective. I think I disagree. I think that this deck needs kind of like cheap aggressive starts. It needs more equity against combo decks. But I don't know. You could be right. Obviously, Tomio is a good card. I kind of just felt like with the Matoya is very dirtily, so I wanted like cheap proactive stuff. Was kind of simply where we're at. Okay, that's their last card in the hand. Let's just counter it. Win this game. They can't cast the wreck, so this ends the game. Let's cast it. One thing is with Tomio, if we had Tomio instead of Ragavan, could we have closed this game? I don't know. I can't sync your own Matoya. I can only sync opposing stuff. You can heat your own Matoya though. Okay, so we're on the draw against the Jeskai Ascendancy deck. Let's bring in the third copy of Force of Negation. Could bring in a Pyroclasm to clean up tokens. We do have the 3 Force, 3 Snare, so maybe we're just okay enough against Steel Cutter. Don't think we really need to do a lot else. Like, I think I want all the 1-mana burn spells. Did you decide you like Pyro over Fire Magic? No, I think this is just kind of... This should be Fire Magic instead. I don't know. I did have Fire Magic in other sideboards, and I built this one after the VV deck, so I don't know how Pyroclasm got in here. I guess I want the Disputes also, right? Because you have all these like 3 drops. They're going to have some other stuff. I think I can go down like 1 Ragavan, 1 Bauble, one Counterspell on the draw. I think I still want the Murktide. Okay, well, good hand. No 1 drop is good for us. Just playing Enhanced Surveillance and bringing back the Surveil combo as possible, Matoya. Well, I mean, Breach is banned, so what's the Surveil combo? I've never comboed with anything that wasn't Breach with Surveil. Piano with the 54 months. I hope that you're doing well today. Thank you for your resub. All right, shuffle away redundant Matoya. So they're probably playing an Imri here, like to use the bolt on that. They basically never play Bauble first, Amber first unless it's Imri. Maybe Narset, I guess. Couple of DRCs using Baubles, perhaps growth shots just to run through your deck. Make sure you draw Oracle and cast Oracle. I see. I guess I don't really see how Enhanced Surveillance plays into that so much, but maybe it does. Dr. Lubafu, thank you for the 14 months. Glad you're still here. Welcome back. I always enjoy saying your name. Okay, don't love seeing this Saga, I guess. Love that they cast this Counterspell. Or say cast the Steel Cutter. Maybe the last card is another Rebuke, although they would have fired it off for sure. On Counterspell, right? I really don't want to have to dispute back because I want to be able to surveil to draw a card. But if they play a Narset, then I'll need to dispute. But they probably just make a Saga token this turn, right? Matoya plus DRC plus Surveillance turns into a supercharge consider on every spell. Well, that's true also without enhanced surveillance, right? Like you get to like surveil more cards away, but like you don't really need this like 2-mana enchantment. Like just Matoya DRC seems like it just turns through your deck by itself. Imagine stick with 4 considered next run. I mean, what are you cutting for 4 more cantrips? I feel like that last game it seemed like we wanted more action and less air. But I mean, I'm open. Like maybe considers better than iteration, but it's kind of iteration is better when you don't have Matoya. I think you just take that because it's another surveil at the very worst. This deck needs some reach if you don't have a way to come off. That's why I'm wondering if there's room for snaps and snap bolts. We'll see. I mean, we won our first game and it wasn't like really that close. And like we have Murktide, we've got all these channelers. I think the time will tell if we need more action or not. Oh, so I guess I should have surveilled first because if I found a bolt, I probably wanted to use that instead of the dispute to be better against a Narset. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, definitely keeping that. All right, GG. Maybe. I guess the construct's a little bit scary. If my opponent just like doesn't cast a spell, they just equip the Shadow Spirit. I can't counter anything. Yeah, maybe could lose. Okay, great. It's kind of crazy that Matoya says draw a card. It doesn't say draw a card instead. You know what I mean? Oh, sorry. I don't know if I was supposed to force that. Like the Murktide is pretty good here. What about a 1 Arena of Glory so you can Murktide and 7 our opponent? Surely that's better than Bolt, Snap, Bolt. Yeah, I mean, at the moment I don't really feel like this deck needs any of this nonsense, and I'll say that Chad is always really concerned with like goofy top of the curve win conditions and like not very concerned with like stuff that matters. See a card with 14 mounts in it. See image logo on the card as well. Yeah, I mean, we're also a counterspell deck, so it's just not a very good deck for Arena of Glory. Why don't play monkey? I think my opponent we could maybe get in a position where we can dash through and they're not playing around it. They also have portable hole in their deck, so it's probably just not a wise thing to dash in general in this matchup, right? Like you're just exposing it to their removal that otherwise they have like few targets for. I guess you could play it out to like bait against a future DRC maybe. Yeah, let's keep both of these. Let's draw the. I guess we are drawing both. Never mind. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna main phase this heat. Let's just chill. Make sure I have double force up. Can we put the new cards in Grixis Death Shadow to make Grixis Death Shadow playable again? Well, here's the thing about Grixis Shadow. Like when Luris was around, the package of like Ragavan, DRC, discard spells, like was pretty well positioned. With iteration, like and Luris, like all of that was pretty good. So if I heat, I want to do it on upkeep so that I can protect it with force from a counterspell. I think I want to heat instead of fight over that. So So like that package was good. That package also really wanted like one more 1 mana threat really badly. Death Shadow was at the time the best thing. It no longer is the best thing. It's Psychic Frog or Bowmaster, Tamio. There's Gory Steelcutter. That's probably the big one. So like if that's the case, why play? You can play Shadow just because you like it if you want, but I don't think there's a really good competitive argument for playing it, unfortunately. Pretty good. Yeah, another Goyf. I didn't even mention that one. It's like there's just so many cards that are better than Death Shadow that it's hard for me to get behind it. Yeah, I think we might as well iterate, draw a card, look for a land for turn. I guess going to 4 can be kind of bad against Galvanic Blast, actually. Don't think they have it in their hand right now, so we'll just try to play around it. What made you want to be Izzet versus Frog for the first draft? Channeler, of course. Like this is the card that goes good with Matoya, so this is an Izzet card. Thoughts about revisiting Lamplight Phoenix combo deck using the new Matoya ideas I'm testing. I guess I hadn't thought about it in the combination with Matoya. I guess I'm having a hard time connecting those dots. You have 3 force in hand. I don't think Blast is a problem. Well, if it's in their hand right now, I'd lose because I can't force on my turn. I'm comboed with Altar of Dementia. Okay, so 18 lands, 4 Preordains. I think we also just have the Bolt for the Surveil. I think I'm keeping this on the play. So if I force this and they have a Midnight, then they can't make a Saga token, and obviously I want to find a land, so I think a force is in order here. And I think there's a very high chance we get to burn something since they played a drum. They're probably playing Brood Scale, right? So maybe they are Affinity, maybe they're not, but Midnight or drum off the Saga, like historically, like that's more like Affinity coded. But Brood Scale is more popular. Is Murktide back no cap? I mean, this build is only playing 1 Murktide, but it is kind of the same deck, and Matoya looked great. Matoya looked great in our very first match, but we have very small sample size. Okay, they find a Soul Guide Lantern, drawing all their Saga targets here. Really want a red source. I don't think Island does much for us. So definitely hand bottom exile like this. Now the question is, do I feel like I can afford to tap out for a Ragavan? If my opponent goes Blade, they have to have Ballista Broodscale payoff in their hand. But yeah, I guess I don't really see like a lot of a reason to not play around that. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously just one match. I agree Matoya looks better than VV. Like I was excited for VV, but like VV is unbelievably overhyped. Like the degree that people think VV is good is so disconnected from how good VV actually is. It's kind of wild how high people are on that card. And I agree that so far Matoya looks better. Okay, second copy of Saga. Should you buy for VV? It seems like the price will likely go down. I don't usually like to comment on finance stuff, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't buy any. You think so? Doom was killing people turn 4 in standard yesterday. Seemed pretty good. Well, of course, all we're talking about here on this channel is always in the context of modern, not in the context of standard. And so I don't think the fact that Doom is killing people on turn 4 in standard is a great argument for the quality of VV. So I guess I should have surveilled first for Delirium. Yeah, like VV is probably much better in Commander too. Yeah, but like so that's the thing too. Like maybe VV will be very expensive because of standard, but of course I don't recommend coming to this channel to try to figure that out because this is just not my area of expertise. All right, so I can dash Ragavan, bolt the construct, hold up Counterspell. Oh, looking for a Matoya more than anything. Delirium would be nice, so that I could also heat the other construct. And if they make a construct, they can't crack the lantern because it would be a 2/2. But now we don't really. Now we might have a hard time against the second or this extra construct. Oh wow! Holy shit! Thanks, Ragavan. It's been a while since we had a big thank you Ragavan moment. I was hoping VV would fail in where Jeskai Ascendancy did in combo decks. Yeah, it might do that too. Like we played a build of Curiosity that was with Curiosity is very similar to that yesterday. Like I don't think VV is a bad card. I think VV is even a good card. People think VV is like a modern staple that is like scary, dangerous, that goes in multiple combo decks and it doesn't go in. So I hate to be I'm a bad content creator because I'm like anti-hyping this card, but I just I also try to help y'all out maybe. It's I hate raining on anybody's parade, but I also want y'all to have an understanding. Dang, I want to tap out for that. Can't though. Thanks for the raid, Modest. Hope you're doing well today. Playing with any of the new cards. Sephiroth looking truth. Sephiroth was good. I think we need to play like Mardu Energy with Sephiroth and Lightning. I think I'm gonna try to build that tonight. Vintage though. Yeah, maybe VV is like nuts in vintage. Wait, this card is legal in Pauper? It's kind of crazy. Wait, isn't there a Brood Scale combo legal in Pauper too? Is Blade Brood Scale legal in Pauper? I know. Or did they ban something? I can't remember. Somehow we don't have Delirium still, although with this Lantern it's gonna go away, although there's Delirium. Hard to say no to that. Oh, Brood Scale was banned. Was it Blade of the Blood Chief that was legal, or was it a different card? So why don't we go ahead and attack first? So that way if they do pop the Lantern, we get some more cards in the yard. Curious to try Matoya and Demir Frog. I think it's very tough to play Matoya without Channeler. Like, I'm not really that interested in it. The cards are just too insane together. Sadistic Glee. Card is cheaper than Blade, but Blade a bit more resilient. So that'll help a lot for Delirium. Looking for a Counterspell, looking for land, I think Matoya is just looking not what we need here. Looking for another burn spell to stop getting comboed. Kind of scared of Emrakul, I guess. Okay, hands, bottom, exile. So now I've got Counterspell, so if they cast an Emrakul, I guess they could probably still heat a Channeler. What is this is a K command end of turn? K command 4/0, sure. So this means it's very likely they're going to Emrakul and that they're casting this to put 2 more types in the yard for Emrakul. Right about that. So I kind of don't want to have Delirium. Okay, I don't want them to have this Bolt. More than I don't want to have Delirium, I guess. So let's keep this on top. So maybe they don't have Delirium so the Heat doesn't kill my Channelers. Could have Forced Exile. Well, Force doesn't counter creature spells. Hard cast Force on K command. I didn't have 3 mana. Without Delirium, with the Channel, I'd die anyways. Right. So I guess now if Delirium happens, it's just good for me. So I guess I just should have had Delirium and then they'd have to attack for 3. Maybe they have the same Delirium brain fart though. Okay, I'm trying to figure out how my brain works, but I wonder if it's like because I'm used to heating opposing DRCs. I don't know, it's weird. Okay, so I'm drawing a Bauble. Let's Surveil first off of this. Well, that's the easy card to draw. Is this a slow roll to not be bolting them? I don't know. Like, they could have random Nature's Claim. I don't know. I'll just say top card's a bolt. I don't know if this is BM. Trying not to. Trying to not throw away equity while also trying to respect my opponent's time. Am I just showing them too much of my deck list here? Oh my gosh. Well, I guess if I surveil, if I rumble over the bolt, I don't have lethal. Could not resist the value. Good job not conceding, opponent. Why rumble? I just forgot that I was going to mill over the bolt. I just tried to get my value. Obviously, it was a mistake, right? Like in my brain, like I'm drawing the bolt next turn and the rumble is just extra value. Like I All right, so they've got a Writhing Chrysalis, so that they need to have a Brood Scale and a payoff here. I think they need a mana also. I'm gonna drink some caffeine. Okay, so they're casting a Writhing Chrysalis. I actually really like that Matoya is not a wizard, because like that Vivi is a wizard and Matoya isn't. Like, I think it makes things more interesting. This puts a counter on the Chrysalis, which I don't know if that matters that much. Where'd my third Surveil land go? Oh, it's in the yard. Surveilled. I guess dashing a Ragavan kills a spawn token. I do have another bolt in the deck, right? There's two in the yard, and the third one is in exile, so the normal bolt's left in the deck. So we counterspell this. Know how to do that. And then they have another copy here. They have an infinite mana payoff as the last card. Obviously punted this game really bad. I don't know that we have like many, if any, outs. If they don't have the payoff, I have to chump block with the Matoya too. Let's go ahead and go to game 2 because we don't have any more bolts to draw into. Yeah, what two infinite power creatures not really beatable there. Bolts. I have no more bolts in the deck. I double checked. Do I kind of counterspell? Maybe. Okay, on the play. Keeping this one lander. If I see a land on top, I'm gonna want to probably hold the Bauble for the Matoya on turn 3. Do see a land on top, so yeah, let's try to hold the Bauble for the Matoya turn, especially if they're gonna like Chrysalis on turn 3. Then just like having Matoya in play can help overpower that. Maybe I'll draw a Consign though. Cavern of Souls, that's a good one for them to have. So why don't we Preordain? Getting some pressure on them is going to be pretty important if they have the Cavern of Souls. Tap land, not very helpful. Lightning Bolt is pretty helpful. Snare is also good if they have Rumble. So I think I keep the Bolt, and then I'm looking for a land. So then we can Bolt next turn if they have the Brood Scale, and then we have Delirium, so we have more pressure. And then if they don't play a Brood Scale this turn, we can go Matoya Bauble. Fair enough. So let me look at my top card. Yeah, let's try to draw that, even though just holding up mana is pretty weak against against the Chrysalis. I think the Channeler is a bit too good with Matoya. Okay. So it's really nice that we have enough burn for the Chrysalis now with the heat. A second K command might be really bad. So if they have this in a second K command, it is really, really bad. But I'm gonna block if they attack. Okay. So no attack. So we're gonna heat one of these two. And then we can bolt the other one if they, or we can bolt it again if they sack everything. Do you have to heat main phase so K command 2 doesn't ranch us? I think we're kind of resigned to losing to K command is where I'm at. I think if they just also go like Cavern into Chrysalis into Emrakul, Chrysalis into Chrysalis Emrakul, it's just gonna be a tough game to win. One thing we can do is we can bolt the Chrysalis, draw a card, and this makes them use all of their spawns, but then they have a gigantic Chrysalis, which is a problem, but it stops them from casting Emrakul this turn and keeping their Chrysalis alive. Tough game to navigate. Obviously wish we had game 3. So they let the trade happen. Maybe they can combo off. I don't think they can cast an Emrakul. Maybe they can. It's going to be like really close. What if this is a bad matchup? Problemo. Okay, we're on the play with Ragavan and Force of Negation. Backup Ragavan to, I think, let's give this one a try. Kind of a classic keep. Opponent's on a mull to 6. I thought about Sephiroth and the mono black Eldras you saw for value with spawn sacrificing. Yeah, I was trying to work on that also. I had a build that was trying to play Fleshraker. Fleshraker seems like kind of impossible to support. So I'm trying to figure out I'm trying to figure out if it works, but my first draft was very, very tough. And Izzet mirror. I guess it could be just prowess. Oh, Storm. Well, our hand's great against Storm. Perfect. I do think Sephiroth with K command is cool, and I'm definitely open to figuring out like how much it works there. More likely to play Sephiroth next in like a Mardu Energy Shell though. Gonna use Counterspell more aggressively than Snare just because Snare just counters everything. I do think countering an Impulse here is good. I want to be using my mana. I want to drive them out of resources. I want to maybe stop them from hitting land drops. I want to be able to kind of cast my own Rin's Resolves off the Ragavan and feel like I don't need to hold up all the mana in the world. Speak of the Rin's Resolve. Huh. I obviously don't play Counterspell with Rin's Resolve that often, but it is up here for this turn cycle. So they just like never will play anything here. It's kind of fun. Yeah, I had Marionette Apprentice in that shell too, but that deck's just definitely missing something. Was the black red deck yesterday decent? It was like okay. We had some like really crazy turns where really popped off. We seemed to be pretty bad against Boros and Prowess. If I were to circle back to that build, I would almost definitely try to get Goblin Bombardment into my main deck. Also, Nightmare was really impressive. So like I maybe want to do like a slightly different split, but I think one big thing is like getting Bombardment in the main seemed like it would be nice. But the thing is also like your deck is just so slow with these Rakdos decks on the games that you don't have like fast Unearth, fast Nightmare stuff. Yeah, Sephiroth Furry would have been crazy. Cat 20 months, Final Fantasy looking like a fun set so far. I agree, I'm having a good time. Yeah, I agree that Sephiroth K Command Fleshraker on Earth sounds sick. It's very hard to get your stuff in the graveyard in that shell, and it's very tough to have a density of colorless cards. I was trying to figure out Skittering Precursor, because Precursor also, like, in theory, works with, like, the sacrifice stuff plan. I'm let Athena outside. Come on, Athena, let's go. So, like, maybe, like, a Rakdos with Skittering Precursor, and then I was getting kind of stuck on, like, again, like, the colorless spells you're playing. Yeah, it could be Asmo Cookbook, and I have been wanting to play like a Disciple of the Vault, Apprentice Marionette, the Cookbook deck for like the longest time. This is like the best Ragavan's been in 2025. All right, well. Wonder how we lose this one. I think we lose this one by letting this resolve and them having 2 Metamorphoses in their hand. I can let this one go and just heat it. Imagine Apostle's Blessing here, I guess. Into I counter, and then they flip it. All right, well. Feeling like we're probably going to win this one. One on top, one on bottom. All right, game 2. So I think I want just the 3 bolts. I don't have any lock pieces, so I guess I don't care about the like gifted tap fish. They might have their own disputes if because they're the blue build. I think I'll just do like a 2-1 here. I guess I want the lanterns. Something like this. I do feel like I like the Consigns a bit more here because we could be scared of Stormscale Scion. We might be kind of cold to just the 4/4 flyer. Your Sephiroth build yesterday inspired me to throw in Storm Herald combo. I am pretty partial to Storm Herald. So if I bobble into Snare, if I see Snare or Force of Negation on top, I'll probably not play Ragavan turn 1. Is this just stock Murktide with 4 Matoyas, or am I missing something? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what stock Murktide is exactly these days because that deck's been gone for a long time. But Matoya, this is the best shell for Matoya, so that's what we're playing. I'm sorry that you're not more excited, I guess. How would you build with Matoya? And do you think it goes in a different deck than only this deck? Because I think it's really just this. Like, I don't think the Gorehound stuff's that exciting. Well, that is sure is a 1/3, huh? Well, it's not a bad draw, but if I had it in my hand, I would have held it up here. What's my bottom? Counterspell. I think no. I think you could potentially put 1 Oracle's out to the win con. I mean, you're not the first person to say that. I think almost definitely a second Murktide would be better. Like, I know we drew a ton of cards game 1, but it just does not seem like a Thassa's Oracle is correct to play. Alright, do you think we should snare a ritual here? Just World of Mysteries, then let's go. I shouldn't have drawn that many cards that game. Y'all can't be trusted. What other cards do you think are overhyped from Final Fantasy? I mean, I think Vivi is unbelievably overhyped. Like, people think it's like insane in Storm. They think it'll make Paradoxical Outcome a deck. They think that it's like people are so high on it. And I like VV. I think VV's like a fine like Izzet Wizards card, which is an archetype that isn't great. VV was fine yesterday. Matoya looks like the better Izzet 3-drop so far. So I don't know. I think the card's very overhyped. Yeah, I think it's definitely some amount of commander players coming in. It seems like part of it. I take it we won't be seeing Matoya Miracles. I don't know. That sounds fun. Would love to play Matoya Miracles. The basic island is rough. Yeah, Outcome is just such a bad card. Okay, so if they win this flip, they get to Ultimate Doral. They lost the flip. Dude, I'm so happy to see the Sarah Visions. Vivi is kind of like the one few universally loved Final Fantasy characters. I think fans want him to succeed, honestly. That might be it. The Final Fantasy fans are so intense. All right, so let's play Channeler. We're going to need to counterspell something this turn, so I don't think we leave up the Surveil. I think this is better than digging for bolts. Matoya is better card for classic blue red. Vivia is better for potential. I think that's true. We also need to explore Cauldron VV. Cauldron VV is interesting. I feel bad because like I like VV. I'm excited to brew around it, but I just like the general perception does not match my impression on this card. So they have 3 cards in their hand. I think with them only having 3 cards, I might want to fight over a card draw spell. Although I guess the problem with that is that they have this sync. I think with them having sync, we just need to fight over mana. Because if they have infinite mana, they could just bounce my counterspell and keep drawing their cards. I was watching Wheeler do a set review, and he constantly had to clarify that when he said a card was bad, he didn't mean the character. That's awesome. I want you to know I do mean the character. That means I hate the character. I don't know anything about Final Fantasy, but I did not expect the fans to be this intense. It is pretty funny. Like I mentioned this. I had someone I posted like my Expedition 33 meme for the YouTube video, and I had like the same person write 4 different comments furious that I was posting about Expedition 33 and not Final Fantasy. I don't even think they played Magic, but they were so upset. It was like some of the meanest comments I've ever had. It was so funny that it was about Final Fantasy. It was so funny. I think Vivi might be the best in like a Mystic Forge deck as Raker 5/8. It's just so tough for mana costs. And I think for the most part, like your like Dice Factory stuff is replacing it. So they won this flip, so I guess they're just trying to get like a little mini row going, which is interesting. So I get the Counterspell back in my hand. There's a Murktide Regent. So Storm Count is 3, but 2 of those are my opponents. They chose not to flip. I think I just don't want this. Did you know the set pre-sale was enough to make it the best selling set today? I did hear that. I'm surprised still, I guess. Okay, so they won the flip. So if I was them, I would probably just flip the Row, grab Great Shot, plus, and kill. Now I'm sad I don't have this Murktide, huh? Do you think we've reached a tipping point where WotC puts more emphasis on making Universe Beyond sets because of the drastic difference in success? I don't know. I just feel so lucky I don't have to fucking like make YouTube videos about this stuff. I just really don't care about the Universe Beyond stuff. I think some of them are cool. I'm not as interested in others. Like the flavor of Final Fantasy, to me, this feels like just any other Magic set because I don't know about Final Fantasy. The quality of names feels lower because they're all kind of hard and weird. But besides like the quality of names being weird, to me, this is just another Magic set. Every set to me is just a Magic set. There are good design cards. There are bad design cards. That's all I personally care about. I'm someone that just likes to enjoy playing with the game pieces. And I just feel very lucky that I don't have to that's not the kind of content I need to engage with. Because I just don't find it very interesting at all. Yeah, if there's a Dark Souls set, I would be really excited about it. But but what can you even say about it? Like every like a take about Universe Beyond is like, I like this in World. I like this Universe Beyond. I don't like this World. I don't like this Universe Beyond. It's just so boring. Like how many times can you say that for how many years and how many sets can you say the same things about Universe Beyond? It's like Or like a Halo set? I guess. I mean, I wouldn't mind a Halo set. I'm not like the biggest Halo fan. Okay, they've got 2 cards in their hand. I'm going to not counter the ritual. If it's a Scion, it's a Scion. Might be a Wish. I like the Universe Beyond, whether I like the IP or not, that are rooted in traditional fantasy. This is what like those are. I mean, that's fine too, but it's just like, again, for me, I just don't know for how many years we can say the same opinions over and over again. Ah, damn it. I do have a couple of lanterns to draw into, so I don't need to find a counterspell. I can find one of those or a counterspell. If they had one less mana here, then I could let this resolve and then snare the first card they play. I guess maybe I could do that next turn because it'll cost 3 from the graveyard. So if they don't draw a ritual, we could do that. I'm essentially a competitive player. I do take a lot of pride in how my deck sounds. Yeah, it's like I get people having opinions about Universes Beyond. This conversation is just so old, is my point. Obviously, great draw. This conversation is just so old. Like it's like years at this point. Years at this point, and there's no new thoughts being had. I think there's no interesting points being made. It's just all the exact same opinions that people had when they first came out, and so I don't know. I just think it's so boring. Like there's just not a conversation being had at all. Yes, we do this. It's a little bit. I don't know if maybe I just don't play the lantern. I think I just don't play the lantern. I already have one in play. Okay, they drew a land for turn. So I guess one thing too is I do have the lantern in play for a Past in Flames, so I could also the Force of Negation in hand for Past in Flames, so I might just be able to comfortably sack the lantern. Do you have Bruise with Father from the Sun planned, or is that Dandelion for bigger, better vehicles? Yeah, I looked at every vehicle that exists in Modern, and the best two are still like Parhelion, and then there's another one that it's like kind of similar. It has lifelink, but it doesn't make stuff. It's not as good as Parhelion, I guess, if you could call Parhelion good. And so if there was some, if I said this in my YouTube video, but if they turned Archon of Cruelty into a bicycle, then I would be interested in this From Father to Son card. So, but until an abomination of a blacksmith hammers Archon of Cruelty into becoming a bicycle, I'm not going to be that interested in that card. Would you love Archon of Cruelty was a bicycle? Yeah. I would make content about that. I was pretty surprised that Aether Drift, the vehicle set, didn't have a vehicle better than Parhelion in it. Yeah, I do think that they're kind of scared because of Greasefang, and I guess now this new card, right, was probably a card they were aware of. Well, Storm matchup, good. Kind of your best matchup, I guess. Like your big combo hitting them for like 12, or I guess it's 13. It's just like they use untap and die so often. I think I keep backup Ragavan over the Bauble, because if this first Ragavan dies, I really want the second. If the Ragavan doesn't die, that's great. Did the Rumble lose the match? Okay, so I surveilled a lethal bolt to the top. Then I flipped a Rumble off Ragavan. In my brain, I had already drawn the bolt, and I just cast the Rumble, milled over it, and lost. Arid Mesa, Godless Shrine. Magic lore was like full novels back then, in my opinion. Well written and story driven. If you are, they didn't take Counterspell. Wow, and I get Thoughtseize bugged. If you were a big fan of the Magic lore back in the day, what was your favorite story or piece of lore? I actually really enjoyed all of the lore I've ever absorbed for Magic has been like through 40-year-old divorced guys at my local game store who just tell me about Liliana and the Raven Man. And for me, that's the best way too. That was always the best way to absorb the lore. Brothers War and Thran. Yeah, that stuff always sounded really cool. Take offense to that. I mean, I love the 40-year-old divorced guys at the LGS. Like, honestly, like, just super friendly. Like, a lot. I love you guys. Do I play this Ketramos? No, I guess. Kind of tempted. Yeah, Flickerwist would be pretty good, huh? Yeah, like that era was always really before my time. So all the the old heads of the LGS would just always they would just like love to tell you stories about the game. It was awesome. I like genuinely I feel like that's maybe just not an experience you can have anymore. I don't know. Sure. I mean, I don't have Delirium. I think I went like card draw, Counterspell. Got 5 cards in their hand. Seems like we should let this resolve. They find a Flicker Wisp. There's also the Felias. Are they at 7? Well, they thought seized and then they bolted this in. They do pick Felia instead of Wisp. They know I have counter spells. I guess that makes sense. Is Valky flickering too weak for black-white decks? Valky flick. I mean, like things that flicker Valky into Tibalt are like it's like winds of whatever. There's not that much that actually casts the Valky, right? Do you have a personal favorite card? I mean, I like Jade Avenger is a card that does like for some reason mean a lot to me. I can't really articulate very well why, I guess. My favorite part was Urz's Madness arc, ruining the multiverse with Angsha and Rat Epe, who basically convinced himself was his brother incarnate, when mad across the universe stumbled upon Equilor and Olus planar beings of the multiverse. I mean, yeah, all that sounds just so... It sounds so much better than, like, Jace and the Oathwatch stuff. Like, I started to Return to Ravnica, and, like, this was, of course, like, right on the heels of Innistrad. And so it was definitely a cool time to start. Yeah, I kind of figured that they would just do this and I could heat. And then if they didn't do this, I would attack with the Ragavan and then they would kind of be forced. Like that stuff was always really cool. Return to Ravnica, Innistrad, and then Khans of Tarkir was after. Like I really enjoyed like the settings, even if I wasn't that into the like the characters of the lore necessarily. I feel like it's fine to cast this. Like it makes like Relic offline. I can counterspell Flicker Wisp maybe. If I don't, then like them being at 1 life with this is not the scariest. RTS when it started. Yeah, I don't know. Like, what is it about RTR that like so many people played it? Like that was like just such a good time to get into Magic. I don't know if like it was just a time period culturally where like Magic was becoming more mainstream or what. Yeah, okay. So I get this turns my Ketramos on. Yeah, it was just and like I or maybe it's like Survivor's bias a little bit where like if you started with Return to Ravnica, that set was so good to start with that you just stayed playing it. Okay, right now they're dead on board. So yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's just like everybody who started with Return to Ravnica they're just still playing. And so it seems like everyone got in there, but maybe people who got in at other sets just aren't playing anymore. Into housing crisis, people spend money again. Yeah, that sounds about right. I was a college student, so I was pretty broke back then, and I remember. I might not be here today if my first booster pack I bought had worse RNG, by the way. But the first booster pack, I was going to a local game store with my friends. I didn't have a collection. I was borrowing like just kind of cards for like an unplayable deck for F&M. And I'm like, I'll buy a booster pack. I didn't know what I was doing. I was a very poor, broke college kid. And my first booster pack had a foil Blood Crypt and an Angel of Serenity. It was like a $60 or $70 booster pack. And I just ended up trading for a bunch of cards so I could play F&M. And it was, it was like, I don't know. I cut the Murktide, I think. I might not have enough action. They have so much graveyard hate, though. Yeah, I don't think I can cut it. But, like, I do think that if my... No, let's cut it. I do think if my first booster pack just was worse, I might have just picked a different hobby, you know? I might have graduated college. Let's keep this. But I'm glad it was that good. I'm glad I'm here instead. Kind of a weird hand, but hard matchup to mulligan in. My alternate universe hobby is? I don't know. Maybe I would have published this book sooner. Although I don't know. I also feel like I had to do some growing up before I could write a big. Because the book I'm working on now. I have been planning since I was like 18, and it's basically unrecognizable now. But I do sometimes go back and I look at what my drafts were like way back then, and I think to myself. That I'm glad I waited to grow up before seriously trying to write a novel. I think I want to Bauble really badly for the Matoya. Okay, we'll keep a Scalding Tarn for the second Surveil. Maybe my life worked out okay, huh? Yeah, I'm glad my first booster pack was really good. I'm glad I got here. Even what another thing about being here too is my second pro tour. I think my second pro tour was I've told this story a lot, but it was the Pro Tour Minneapolis. It was the 25th anniversary of Magic event, and it was the team pro tour. And my team were one round win away from top 8ing. And one match win away from me being like immediately silver, which would have been another PT invite. Would have had a very good chance of being gold. And I was even like 3 poor points away from silver with 9 months to get it. But they did away with the pro point system like immediately after that. And like if I had won that extra match, or if I had if they hadn't done away with the pro point system, like there's a really high chance that like I would have never started streaming. And I would have just tried to grind tournaments forever instead. But because they did away with the pro point system, I ended up becoming a streamer, which is just a pretty big change in trajectory. Yeah, I think I need to not fight over this. I played Legacy at the Team PT. I played Storm. I played Ant. I played against 3 different people who were playing Grixis Shadow. I played the second Tendrils in the sideboard. I beat every single one of them with the second Tendrils in the sideboard. Their life total was just so low. You would just cast Tendrils and they'd die. And every single one of them complained about losing. It was so funny. They're like, oh, this matchup's so good for me. It was so funny. Might bounce the Scholar end of turn, but let's just chill. Yeah, I've been thinking a little bit about Thoughtbound Phantasm. I think you could play Consider over Preordain and play Phantasm in the stack. Like, you know, that is something we have had some success with in the past. Okay, actually this is good. Because what I can do is I can bounce the Sculler, then I can snare it on the way down. And then I guess I want to try to do that at end of turn so the snare can draw me a card, right? Like, it does feel like we're missing some juice. It's possible Phantasm's kind of like better juice than Murktide. It's 1 mana, it gets really, really big. It feels like the format's kind of too fast for it. It does feel like Ragavan's better. Obviously, that's like why I included it, but... So they didn't play a land. They might have a Solitude in their hand, which would be kind of bad. They might have an Ephemerate. Yeah, I don't really think the Gorehound Matoya stuff's gonna be good. I mean, it is cool that you get to draw a card immediately. Like that is not uninteresting. All right, let's go to second main phase. If we hit Delirium, we want to block and not attack here. Kind of not the worst. I think I graveyard it though. So they're going to rebound this Ephemerate on the Skyclave, and then I can consign the Skyclave ETB, I guess. Is there potential in Esper control Release to the Wind, Valkyrie, Solitude, Subtlety? Well, when Release to the Wind, Valkyrie were first around, this was a time when I still did donation decks. And this was the worst donation deck I ever played, was Release to the Wind, Valkyrie. And, you know, we didn't have the evoke spells back then, but I've kind of forever sworn it off, I guess. Wasn't worse than the gifts in Remir and Spides. I think it was. It was definitely an 0-4. All right, I think we just get Matoya in play. The 1-4 blocks on this board like super well. It does mean if they have a 2-drop, they can slam it, which isn't the most ideal, but I think this is the line. I haven't built the Lockhart Infect deck. Next time we play Lockhart, we will play Infect. Oh, they do have this Valia. Valia and Wisp. All right, let's go to game 3. So yeah, I'm looking forward to building that. Like I'm a little bit stuck a little bit on some card choices there. Like I want to play Green Sun, I want to play Tifa, I want to play Ink Moth Nexus. I think I might just play one Glistener Elf to like Green Sun for. And then like beyond that, I'm a little bit unsure what I want the list to look like. Let's keep this. Beautiful hand. I'll keep land number 3 here. Don't think I want land number 4 yet. Because I might want to save the fetch to surveil anyways, I think I'm just going to play the island. I would counterspell an Overlord here also, I think. Yeah. Not going to counterspell that. Just going to turn up the heat. So what 3 drops could they tap out for that I really care about? Ketchamos isn't enabled at the moment, but if it resolves, it is really bad. I think I'm just going to iterate. Can't believe, didn't realize how much I miss Ragavan hold up Counterspell. Yeah, I mean, Modern was always better when it was about this kind of stuff instead of Boros and Eldrazi. In my opinion, the like MH2, like post MH2, pre Lord of the Rings was the best era in Modern's history. Obviously, everybody has a different favorite time or whatever, but that was my favorite time. I think I want to save the Consign so that I can Consign Flickerwisp returning this or Felly returning this. Okay, they return Emperor of Bones here, and then they miss their land drop. So should I play? I think I play Matoya. I like that I can Consign Solitude. I like that they're not super likely to play the best possible, which is Flickerwisp, and if they did, it's not even bad for me. I agree, I miss Old Fury and Grief. I mean, I do think that part was not good. However, pre-Lurrus ban, it wasn't really a problem. And also, like, scamming Fury and Grief was not as much of a problem post Lord of the Rings because of the addition of Bowmaster to that deck. But it was definitely a little problematic, of course. But it got way worse post Lord of the Rings. They take my Lightning Bolts. Okay, and then they Solitude, pitching Ketchamos. Now they know I have Consign in my hand. So to me it seems like they're going to Ephemerate. So I think I'm just going to Surveil. I want to do it before they can Ephemerate to stop me from drawing my card. And we'll keep this so we can heat the Ephemerated Solitude. Seems like they're thinking about not using the Ephemerate. They decide to not use it. Seems like a fine spot to fire one of these off. Nice hits. Next level plays if they don't have the Ephemerate. That's true. It seems very likely they have it for whatever that's worth. But yeah, if they like evoked the Solitude and then they like pause that long, yeah, it's like so sick if they don't have it. They take the Heat. Like taking a Heat over Counterspell is so weird. So they're gonna play Emperor of Bones. I guess we'll Counterspell this. I guess they're taking the Heat because of the Overlord. Maybe that makes a lot of sense, actually. This is still our first league with the deck, but it's looking pretty good. We punted our match that we lost really bad, but Matoya's look great. So can't cast that Wisp. If we could, like, casting the Wisp with Consign, we could, like, bounce a land and Consign the return, maybe. I think I like Sculler in this Orzhov deck. Like, it does seem like one thing they really need is, like, more equity against combo decks. So I think I'm just gonna... Well, if I bounce this to their hand and they have a land, it's pretty bad. But I don't want to heat this and let them Ephemerate it. Although maybe I needed to save the sync for the Overlord because of the same reason. I have one more turn at least. Sure. I haven't seen that card in a while. 5-0 Gold Leagues, Kappa Emery playing for Astrogolian's Planisphere. Wait, is that the thing that makes a wizard? Which one is that? Send a link. I'll take a look. So again, we're playing around Ephemerate here. Okay, okay, so make a wizard, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, third spell each turn. I mean, it's cool. Maybe the card's just great. Yeah, I guess I just don't see a lot of reason to heat, like, and play into this Ephemerate that it just is there. Yeah, maybe okay, I'm not gonna dig through the results itself for it, but looks cool, or it sounds cool. Which Vivulus was happy with yesterday. I didn't play the Counterspell version. I think I went like one curiosity in the Counterspell version, but we were not able to play test it. This is such a funny thing to have this Ariok champion in play right now to block the Overlord. Games like this are the best games that Magic has to offer. Yeah, I'm not sure Skirtus. Just open to the link page. I mean, I think I can kind of visualize it, right? Like we played a lot of that shell. It does sound like pretty cool. Is Channeler and Lands the only Scry Surveil? We also have Preordain. I don't really think you need any more than that. Okay, so pitching the Skyclave. Okay, so if I consign this, they ephemerate in response, I heat in response, they activate Emperor of Bones. Kind of sucks, so let's do this. So that's good. Just trying to think if I fire this off. Yeah, I was really hoping to get to replicate. They're going to ephemerate. Dang, I was really hoping they'd play into it. It'd have been so cool. Maybe I thought too long. Yeah, I think I just let this go. I think we'll consign this now so we can attack. We have an attack with the Ragavan potentially. Would have been so cool to be able to replicate the consign there. Getting to gain a lot of life at least. All right, so just gonna attack first. I think I'm just pretty okay if they want to make this trade. But I have a second. Yeah, but I want to be able to make this attack. They might have a second ephemerate. Okay, then that's bad. Don't know what to do about this. I don't know how easy this was to play around or possible this was to play around. Yeah, I think we're going to lose this one. The new Matoya with the new blue-black true drop that surveils an artifact enters. I mean, it's possibly something you could do. I'm kind of excited that Matoya seems to not be like an Emery Opal Tamio bot. I'm so tired of building decks like that. And that's the kind of deck that would be, you know? Classic 2025 Murktide issue, I think. Not enough gas, and you can't afford to play stuff like value lands due to non-value matchups. I don't know. I mean, Matoya is a lot of value. I don't know if we could have protected our Matoya better. It seemed like it was just we did play around the ephemerate correctly. I think when we synced the Emperor of Bones, like maybe that was wrong. That was a really weird turn. But yeah, maybe you're right. Okay, we are dead here. Let's finish up the league. I'm gonna go pee real quick though. It was a fun match, really fun match. Matoya can see in the Living End combo deck. Just kill them with Soul Spike when you draw your deck. What? Living End, Matoya, Soul Spikes. It's a lot of different things, I feel like. So I really need a second red source. I think this turn I'm just gonna hold up Counterspell / Bolt. Ooh, Sephiroth. We're gonna probably play Mardu Sephiroth with Lightning and Sephiroth tomorrow. Deck's felt pretty good so far. We punted a match we lost, and we lost a tight one to Orzhov, but Matoya has seemed pretty good. You ever win the die roll against Energy and feel like you lost the die roll? We're super dead. We get these Ragavans out of the deck post-board. Been fiending on Arcanist brews. I think this Rhino twin build has some possibilities. Oh boy, it's quite the comment. All right, so this is kind of roughly the sideboard plan, plus or minus one cards. We can play one Ragavan. I think we just their thing is they're playing Sephiroth, so they're not gonna have Fable, but like having a force for like bombardment is still, I think, okay. So one here. Let's keep it in. I'll say that like not having any of the new cards is, you know, something we need to be focusing on the new cards right now. These like crashing footfalls do look like really bad in the deck. You probably need to be playing more than 3 arenas. It seems like a really bad Urza Saga deck. Maybe not a really bad one because you have Rin and 6. I don't know. It doesn't spark joy. And those look pretty nice. Looking for lands, looking for love. That is neither. All right, do we slam Matoya? I think with our exact hand we do. They have no energy in their pool for Galvanic Discharge either. 6 cards in their hand. Yeah, I meant to play Fire Magic instead. I built this deck after I was adding Fire Magic to sideboards. I mean, when you just build a bunch of decks, sometimes you forget to add one of them in here, but it just should be Fire Magic. And we played Fire Magic yesterday, and it was good. And it's not really that complicated overall, you know. Because they have a Static Prison, but no energy in the pool. They go after the Channeler instead of the Matoya. So let's draw a card. It's kind of a lot of disrespect to go after Channeler. I think we cast this. So this means I'm not going to be bolting the Voice of Victory this turn. So this could be a little bit risky against like Guide of Souls, getting a lot of energy. I think I'm going to keep this Counterspell. So they tick down to 1 energy. Maybe next time they'll kill the Matoya. Does play versus draw feel especially important for these tempo decks? Or about the same? It's there's not really any deck in Modern right now that doesn't care about play draw a lot. It's, you know, you wish you could be one of these decks, but I can't think of a single deck in Modern that doesn't care a lot. I think the play draw disparity in Modern is pretty high. It's maybe not at an all-time high, but not as good as it could be. So if I draw a land, I'd probably just go Bolt Pyroclasm. I didn't, so we'll go Preordain for sure. I don't think I need this next heat. Thank you, Matoya. Anything else we should be doing? I think we just... Clasm. I think I Bolt instead of Heat. I think I just main phase Surveil to get the extra card. Definitely keeping that. Yeah, I think trying to build this as an Obosh deck is barking up the wrong tree, but I do like where your heart's at. Because they've got plenty of energy. They also have this Nightmare, so it's not very likely. I guess maybe I should have played the Lantern instead of Fetch Surveilling because of the Nightmare. I don't know if I'm that scared of Nightmare, though. Alright, play a Channeler. Play the Lantern. Worst case scenario, if I need Delirium, I can just sack this. I guess I bin this since we have plenty of cards. Yeah, so let's go target the Voice of Victory. I don't find Delirium. I do get to draw another card before. Okay, well, they just concede. Great. I could sack the Lantern to get Delirium, but there was like another step before that. Doesn't matter. Seeing that they're on Nightmare, maybe I do want second Force of Negation on the draw. I don't really know what I would cut for it. We have Snare, we have Lantern, so I guess not. Let's just run it back. Yeah, Matoya is really, really gross sometimes. I think WotC should implement predetermined play draw decisions, similar to chess tournaments. I think it's doable and help tournament play. Yeah, I think it's really dumb that in especially paper tournaments, the computer doesn't tell you who plays, who draws. I told a story about this, but I was at a pro tour playing against a Hall of Famer. I will not say their name, but we determined high roll. They took 2 dice. They rolled 2 of them. One of them landed on the table. It was a 1. The other one landed on the floor. It was and then he just picked up both. I don't remember what it was, but he just picked up both of them and he said, "I get to reroll both of these." He said, "I get to reroll both of these," and I just said, "What?" And he's like, "This has happened before, and a judge has said I get to reroll both of these." And we call a judge, and the judge is like, "You two figure it out," which is so dumb. And I gave it to him, and I won the match, but it was dumb. It was really, really dumb. And, avoiding situations like that would just be pretty nice. So I think I let this go since I've got the Pyroclasm. They graveyarded a Bombardment, so I want to be able to counterspell Bombardment too. Okay, so now I counterspell so that I can use my mana. They missed a land drop. I got a lot of burn. I think I'm just going to bottom both of these. Six cards in their hands, though. It's a lot of cards. So hopefully they miss another land drop. Regretting bottoming the Pyroclasm already. Maybe we can save this for Matoya, so let's iterate expressively. Hand, bottom, exile, heat, and then probably just with this stray mana, we're supposed to not hope that our top card is exactly Matoya. I guess we keep this. Weird game. They're gonna Nightmare back a Johnny probably. Instead they get back Bowmaster. That's an interesting choice. I think that ends up being better for them too. Life total is real low. They're not drawing a spell. They're drawing an Ocelot. They're drawing an Ocelot Pride. We need to find a Channeler or Matoya sooner rather than later. Just counter this. Matoya. They fouled land number 3. Fatal Push. I guess I'm not desperate for Matoya anymore. If they have Guide to go with their Pride, that's pretty bad. I guess actually I just want to untap and bolt that. I mean, it's obvious I have a Spell Snare now, but I think there's just too many, like, 2 drops that get value that I need to save for. Hand, bottom, exile. Iteration still getting it done. Matoya. They got 4 cards in their hand. We know one of them is an Ocelot Pride. I'm at 3 life. It's not a very high life total. I don't know how to sugarcoat it. I'm gonna counterspell this. We need Matoya this in play for Matoya to be a good draw, which is like our main way to get out of this. Oh, although I'm gonna keep that on top. 4 cards in the hand. One of them is Ocelot Pride, 3 unknowns. One of them is this Guide of Souls that we will be Unholy Heating. So let's go ahead and attack them down to 13. I guess if I find a Lightning Bolt, I'm going to have lethal, although I only have 1 Lightning Bolt left in my deck, I think. I'm going to wait on the Unholy Heat until they commit something into it. Hey, Mr. Sari, how you doing? Definitely enjoying this list so far. Interesting. So I can't stop them from Guide Priding, so I guess I need to heat the Pride, huh? Matoya Warden. Ugh, Warden's pretty cool. I haven't heard anybody talk about that yet. Draw a card. Pretty scary place to be. Some good top decks, of course. Gonna have to leave the Murktide back, probably. Sock with the 8 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Okay, my opponent has 1 card in their hand. It's a spell. I could attack. Heat whatever they guide onto, and then try to kill them next turn. They could have a Goblin Bombardment as their spell, if that makes some sense, because they surveilled one away earlier. They could have Sephiroth. We saw that earlier. Sephiroth is pretty annoying. I don't think I'm doing very well against them having a Sephiroth, if that's the card. Yeah, I think I'm just going to attack and hope that they just play a 2-drop next turn. I don't really see like a much better line. I just don't think holding the Murktide back is the better line. Doesn't work if they play any creature. Well, it does work if they play a 2-mana creature. Not if they play this one. So I heat here, I die, and then they double jump and I die. So it's like we're not doing very good against them playing Ocelot Pride if we don't attack there. You know what I mean? So I think attacking there is the right play, but tough one. So start off hot, finish 2 and 3. Matoya did look very powerful. I'm definitely interested in continuing to work on this. We have one more day of playing leagues before we're going to figure out a challenge, I think. What are we playing tomorrow?